If you have clicked on this video, you already know what time it is. Like, do I even need to do an intro at this point? We are having a baby. If you don't follow me on Instagram, then you may not already know this humongous news that we have known for several months now. It is official. We are going to be having a little baby. Finally, I have been trying to sit down and record this video for some time now, to be honest. As I was getting ready for this video, I was just like, wow, like I'm actually sitting down to record and share such an intimate part of my life. I just feel, you know, excited because I get to share this with y'all. So I wanted to just kind of start off the video with just giving you guys a little bit of the backstory to my pregnancy journey and everything like that. The reality is that there really isn't a backstory. This is my very first pregnancy. I've never been pregnant before. So this is literally my very first pregnancy. And so I did have like a little bit of, I guess, weird nerves about whether or not I could get pregnant because, you know, I had like obviously dated people before and never got pregnant. So sometimes that used to cross my mind. I used to be like, girl, well, can you even have kids? I used to get all these like weird thoughts in my head, and I used to ask my friends like, y'all think something is wrong with me? Should I like go to a fertility clinic? And the whole time God was really helping me dodge some serious bullets. Okay, we gonna leave that at that. And I'm really grateful to God because I know that every woman's journey is completely different, and obviously, you know, fertility can be a very sensitive topic. This is my first time, and overall, y'all, it's been a really beautiful experience. But we're gonna get into the not so beautiful stuff too. Okay. The next question that I wanted to touch on is like, were we trying? Like, I feel like people have asked me that question a lot. Like, were y'all trying to have a baby, or was this like a surprise? The reality is that when you lay down with your man, sis, you already kind of know what time it is. Okay. Like, there's always that chance, you know, unless you're taking appropriate measures. Okay, birth control, all that good stuff. I guess you could say technically though, yes, we were trying to have a baby, and because I had never been pregnant before, I had no clue where to start. Do I go to a clinic first to make sure everything is good before we try? Like, this has never happened before. In a separate video, I'm gonna share with you guys more specifics on like, you know, the things that we were doing to try to get pregnant. Overall, we were just very intentional. Like, I was very intentional about tracking my period, tracking my ovulation and things like that. And we did it on the first try, which apparently is not, I don't know if that's like not super common. Like, it's funny because when we went for our first appointment to confirm the pregnancy, the doctor literally gave my husband a dap and was like, okay, marching soldiers. Because literally, y'all, I only had to track my ovulation for maybe 8 days, and then literally 2 weeks later I got a positive test. So it was just crazy, and it just really goes to show that every woman's experience is different and every woman's pregnancy journey is different, because for some reason I was expecting it to be months and months and months before it was actually gonna be successful. So it was just crazy. The way that I found out, I was just like, wait, what? Like, I couldn't believe it, honestly. Listen, y'all, I was overjoyed. I was crying. I was in shock. I just kept saying, no way, no way, no way. Because, not because I wasn't excited, but no way, because I was just like, what? I guess in my mind, I was like, okay, well, you know, it's our first month trying. It's probably gonna be negative. And also, Google told us, y'all already know how Google is, okay? Google told us that it takes couples an average of 6 to 12 months to get pregnant. So I'm thinking I'm about to be tracking my ovulation for like months at a time. So I bought ovulation strips, and I had a little notebook, and y'all, the whole thing, if you watch pregnancy videos on YouTube, then you probably know exactly what those trackers kind of look like. And I'll show you guys a picture of mine. But it was just so crazy because I tracked my ovulation for about a week. If you have used an ovulation kit before, then you know that both of your lines have to be dark. Like, your test line has to be darker or the same color as your control line. I was so annoyed because by like day 5 or 6, I still, you know, both of my lines weren't matching. And I was like, okay, like, what the heck is going on? Typically, I was taking it at, like, I was taking my ovulation test in the mornings around 10 a.m. and then I would take it again around maybe like 4 or 5 in the evening. So on this particular day, around 10 a.m., I skipped it. I was like, whatever, it's probably not gonna come back positive. The audacity of me to be frustrated, because this is a long journey. Like, girl, you've only been tracking your ovulation for like 5 days. Like, calm down, sis. I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna take it. It was like 2 in the afternoon. So I remember I took the ovulation test or whatever, and I flipped it downward. You guys will be able to see in the picture, all the ones before that were just not matching with the test line. So I was kind of over it, honestly. And lo and behold, after the timer was up, I looked at the ovulation strip and it was dark. It was as dark as the test line. And I was like, oh snap, like, we got a positive, we gotta get going, like, right now. It's really a reminder, to be honest, to give yourself grace if you're on a pregnancy journey, because honestly, you just never know. And it will happen sometimes when you very least expect expected. Obviously, we did the baby dance, and 2 weeks later, I got a positive pregnancy test. So many emotions rushing through my head. I was just like, oh my goodness. I was crying, I was excited, I was nervous, I was scared, like just thanking God. It was just so many different things because this was just such a new journey for me. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like not little old me, not my childish behind. Nonetheless though, I was like overall very excited, and I just felt very blessed. I felt very blessed because there are a lot of women who obviously struggle on fertility journeys, and I just didn't know what to expect with my own personal journey because I see a lot of stories, I hear stuff, I've read stuff, and so I just didn't know what to expect. I just felt very blessed and grateful in that moment that like, wow, we got a positive test on the first try. God is good. So of course, you know, after I found out, this was like in the morning time, and I was like, okay, so now I want to try to come up with a cute and creative way to tell my husband. So I went to Walmart and I got these cute little baby shoes that we actually ended up including in our like at home photo shoot or whatever. So I got these cute little baby shoes, and then I went and bought him his favorite cologne because I wanted it to look like, you know, me buying him his favorite cologne was like a just because gift. He had been looking for it and it was out of stock. So we lived right next to the mall at the time back in Kentucky. So I went to the mall, got his favorite cologne, and then I put the baby shoes at the bottom of the gift bag. And then I also put the positive pregnancy test, and then I stuffed, you know, like gift paper, and then I put the cologne on top of that. So like at first, when he first saw the gift, when he came home later that evening from work and he opened, he was like, oh, like, oh my gosh, you know, thank you so much. And then he kept digging. And it was just like, what? Like he picked the test up and was looking at it, and it was just like, what? He was speechless for like 2 minutes. And it's crazy because I low-key I feel like I had the same reaction, but his shock was more of like a silence shock. My shock was more crying and just like saying, no way, right? It was just this very intimate moment. It was very special for both of us because we were just like, whoa, like this is both of our first time. Like we've been together for some years now, and like now we about to be parents? What? Cannot be happening. This cannot be happening. Like bring the tissue. It was a whole moment, seriously. So person that my husband is everything, honestly. Like he gets me inside and out. He has been my pillar of support through this entire process. It's very sweet because I just cannot imagine sharing this journey with anybody else, and I'm just so grateful for him. So it was a very exciting moment for both of us. It was a secret for about 2 or 3 months before we told our family, because you know I had done like some research and I went to the doctors and everything, and we confirmed the pregnancy. We just did not want to tell anybody yet. So my reasons for not really wanting to tell my family and friends yet was because, you know, obviously when you're in the first trimester, that's a very like high risk time for miscarriages and things like that. So I didn't want to get too excited and share that news and then have to like roll back and be like, oh, you know, unfortunately we lost the baby or something like that. So I was very paranoid. I'll be honest, y'all. In the first trimester, I was like a full-on mama bear. Like I'm not telling nobody yet. And then eventually I did tell my siblings, and I told my mom, and I told them in like very creative ways that maybe I'll include in a video later. But of course I recorded everything because the content creator in me could not record. And then we shared it with his family, but with his family it was a little bit different as far as like, you know, how we told the news. So if you're married to an African man, specifically my husband, if you're watching this for the first time, my husband is from Nigeria, and they are very spiritual people, okay? So when we told his family, they were immediately like, don't tell nobody. And they instantly went into like these series of just like prayers and all that stuff. I have learned on this journey that like different cultures take pregnancy different, because y'all know like Americans, we want to announce it to the world. We telling everybody because we're just so excited. African cultures, it's different because there are a lot of spiritual beliefs around pregnancy, and they believe that like, you know, sometimes not everybody is always happy for you. And so if you tell the wrong people, sometimes, you know, they believe that people will like pray against you, pray against your happiness. Pregnancy is a very intimate moment that Nigerians believe really should not be shared until the baby comes, honestly. And even when the baby is earthside, they still be real particular, like, okay, we ain't gonna share no pictures yet. Like it gets real specific. So it's been a learning experience for me, and you know, my husband and I, we've had to do a lot of just like compromising because, you know, I'm American, so I'm excited. I want to share it online. I want to show the world. And then he's more so like, I don't want to show nobody yet. So we waited honestly until pretty late, I guess compared to other couples, we waited a pretty long time before we actually decided to announce it. Like, he comes from a culture where they are just very private about stuff like that. So I know that that was something that was probably like different for him, you know, to want to like be online and sort of like publicly post about something like a pregnancy, because in his culture, that's not something that's like super duper normalized. Like, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it's more common for people to kind of keep it on the hush until the baby actually arrives. So I just want to kind of talk about some of my most common symptoms. So just FYI, I am in my 3rd trimester. So we are in the final stretch, y'all. Baby will literally be here in the next 1.5 to 2 months. It's just so surreal to even say out loud. I still just can't believe it sometimes. But my most common symptoms early on, y'all, I did not throw up. Like, I was expecting, when I first found out, I was expecting to be hovering over the toilet, throwing up, and that did not happen for me. However, even though I was not actually like throwing up and vomiting, I was nauseous as crap. Like, I was nauseous every single day. I didn't want to eat anything. It was more so like I just wanted really cold stuff. So like, I wanted really cold yogurt. I wanted really cold, crunchy salad, like salad greens, dark greens especially. Like, dark salad greens were literally my favorite. Just anything that was super cold. And I've always been a cold kind of girl. Like, I like iced coffee. I like iced water. You know how some people prefer like room temperature stuff? I wanted everything cold. Like, because to me, it just, that felt the most soothing for the nausea. And so for the longest time, honestly, I had to just tough it out, because it just seemed like no matter what, I went to sleep nauseous, I woke up nauseous. Like, it was miserable. And I was just like, God, please, like, please get me out of this, because what in the world? So I'm so grateful, because by the time I got into my 2nd trimester, the nausea had pretty much subsided. But what replaced the nausea was like real bad migraines. Like, I had crazy intense headaches and migraines. Like, it was so bad to the point where I would be in tears some days, because it was just like throbbing. I really don't know the difference between headaches and migraines, but it was so intense that for me, I'm gonna just call it a migraine. And it was happening maybe, I would say every 3 to 4 days. And then, you know, later on I found out that it's just, you know, hormonal changes and everything that's happening with your body, blah, blah, blah. Listen, our bodies go through it during pregnancy, okay? Like, we really be going through it. So I also slept a lot early on. Like, I found myself napping a lot more during the day. The nausea and like how I really dealt with it, I just tried my best to make sure that I was eating smaller meals. If you're a female and you're watching this and you're early on in your pregnancy and you're looking for like relief, if you're looking for relief for like nausea and things like that, what I can truly say is that you just have to remember that you're not only taking care of yourself right now, you're also literally growing a child. So you have to eat. You can't just not eat. So just remind yourself, if you have to set a timer on your phone for every 1.5 to 2 hours, eat something, even if it's small. It could be an apple or some type of fruit. Like I said, yogurt with granola was like one of my favorite things, especially yogurt that has protein. So like the Chobani yogurt, those really helped me down, because when I wasn't super hungry, I knew that I was still getting something into my system. But you don't want to just not eat, because that can probably make it way worse. Yeah, so those were my main symptoms. The other crazy symptom that has just traveled along with me and has gotten worse and worse to this moment is heartburn. Oh my goodness, y'all. Heartburn, and honestly just like digestive type of stuff in general, we gonna just put it out there. I be gassy, but the worst part about the gassy is that it don't be coming out. It just be sitting in my stomach, and as the baby grows, it's like I feel like my insides are being sat on and my stomach is not able to digest the food the way that it needs to. So like the gas has just been crazy. Like, it's not even bloating, it's just cramping and gas. So I have been trying my best to just figure out like what foods, you know, kind of trigger the gas. And you know, I try my best to just not get to that point, honestly. So I try to eat a lot of vegetables during the day, try to eat a lot of fruit, so that way I can have regular bowel movement, so that I don't give my body a chance to build up. And in the heartburn itself, the heartburn, y'all, it's bad. It's bad. Like, it's miserable. I can't have like red sauces right now. So like regular tomato sauce on pizza, spaghetti, all those things give me crazy, crazy heartburn. So also spicy foods, which sucks, because like I said, I'm married to a Nigerian, and y'all, their food is so amazing. And it's so hard, because I've had to pass up on pepper soup. I've had to pass up on babe stew, which is like one of my favorite things to eat. I can't really eat any of it anymore, because it gives me a miserable amount of heartburn. So, but it's okay though. It's okay, because I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I still do have my spicy foods. Like when I go to Chipotle, I still get my little spicy sauce, and then I just have to deal with the consequences. I've just been popping a lot of Tums. That's all I can say, because Tums are safe during pregnancy. So my favorite parts, what have been my favorite parts of our pregnancy so far? Number one, I think I get to experience this with the love of my life, honestly, and he is just so supportive. Y'all, I literally, I ain't gonna cap, you know, let me brag on my man a little bit. He has been everything, y'all, literally. And it's like he has like stepped up to daddy bear times 20. And it's crazy because he's always been this way. Like he's always been a very good supportive partner, but I feel like it just like increased times 10. You know, his motivation toward the things that he's doing in his life currently, I've noticed that they've increased. He has his own motivation because he's about to be a dad, you know, like as much as I'm about to be a mom, he's literally going to be my other half in this journey. And so that's been my favorite part, just kind of like witnessing us just grow together as parents, going to the doctor's appointments, hearing the baby's heartbeat for the first time. It's just so cool because I feel very grateful because I'm just like, wow, like this is the reason why it did not happen with anybody else. Like it was always meant for it to be this special moment for me and the man that I'm with, and I just love him so much. Another part that I can say is my favorite is finally being able to feel the baby move. I feel like it took a while because they said that, you know, oh, you know, right around 22 weeks, you'll start to feel these movements that they say that it kind of feels like gas bubbles and then it kind of feels like butterflies, but it's not like the nervous butterflies. It's like you got real butterflies in your stomach. So of course, at 22 weeks for me, I wasn't really feeling anything yet. And I was like, dang, like, you know, what's going on? But then eventually the movement did come, and now the baby moves all the time. Like when I'm sleeping between like 3 or 4 in the morning, I wake up to go to the bathroom and the baby be in there doing a heel toe, okay? Like having a whole party. So that's been the coolest part. And like also one of my favorite moments is just knowing that like, okay, like you in there, like this is really happening. You know, early on when you don't feel anything, you know, you had those moments where you'd be wondering like, is the baby okay? Like are they doing well? Like is, you know, are they safe? Are they healthy? But then when you get to, you know, like I said, the second trimester and you get to actually feel them move and all that stuff, you just be like, oh my God, like this is really happening. This is really what it is. Oh, but yeah, just seeing the sonograms, like we actually recently did like a 3D, 4D whole experience where we went to this office and we got to see the baby's face and we got to see the baby's features, and we were just like comparing like, oh yeah, that's your nose, or yeah, those your lips. So yeah, that's just been like the funnest parts when you get to see the sonogram and get to see them move and you get to start to see some of their features. So those have definitely 100% been some of my favorite parts. Some of my biggest struggles, and I may do like a more in-depth video on this because I feel like I have learned so much on this journey, y'all. I have learned so many different things, but my biggest struggles, I would have to say, giving myself grace and being okay with like, hey, you've never navigated this space before. You're not gonna always know what to do. You're not gonna always know how to respond. You're not gonna always know how to grab the most, you know, important resources. Like you're not gonna know those things right away. So I have to constantly remind myself that, because sometimes I feel like I get very overwhelmed and I feel like I should know certain things already. Give yourself some grace. You have never navigated this before. Yes, you have, you know, I do have friends who have children. You know, there's other supports out there. Like I also have a doula, but the reality is that most times, you know, I think I honestly just get in my head a lot. The biggest struggle for me has just been, I think, giving myself that grace, and I'm really learning every day that it's okay to not know. Another struggle for me, I think, is I've been having to remember to literally slow down, because I am not only caring for myself. It's Build-A-Bear workshop going on right now, okay? Like we're literally building a baby. You can't do things like skip meals. Like you can't skip meals. You can't just go a whole day and only drinking a cup of water. That is not gonna be very nourishing to your body, to your baby. I had a scare recently where one of my PMP trainings that I was doing, I was so wrapped up in the content that we had learned that day that I went for hours without eating anything because I was so like tunnel vision and trying to get down this certain concept, and I didn't eat a whole lot. And my body tore me up the next day, okay? Like I was in the hospital thinking, I mean, not the hospital, but I went to the doctor's office and I had them checking me thinking I was in early labor, y'all. Like it was crazy. I was crying because I was scared. Come to find out, I was dehydrated and I hadn't eaten enough that day. So that's basically that previous day. So that's basically what happened. That had never happened this entire time during this journey. And I was just like, oh my goodness. So I'm saying that to say that even though I'm in my final trimester, sometimes I have to still remind myself that like, girl, you have a whole baby in you. Like you can't do certain things anymore. You can't be flying up and down the steps all fast. Like you have to take your time. And sometimes your body will tell you, because you think that you can go and do all these different things and then you be winded, like sitting on the side of the car like, hold on. Give me a second. Even getting out of the bed at night when I gotta use the bathroom, it's hard for me to sit straight up. Like I have to like turn on my side and then sit up. It really be giving turtle on his back, seriously, because I have the hardest time as my stomach grows. It's like it's just getting a little more challenging every day to actually be able to like sit straight up. And so instead I have to turn on my side. Yeah, so those have been the things that I think have really been, I guess you can say, like my struggles. But for the most part, honestly, it's been a very beautiful and just like eye-opening journey. All right, so now that the news is officially out there and y'all know the tea, I mean, even though like I said, if you follow me on Instagram, you should have already known that this was coming anyway. As far as my channel is concerned, I do want to share my pregnancy and, you know, just also my journey of motherhood. I do want to share that on my channel, but I want to know first what you guys might specifically be interested in. In my mind, I'm thinking I want to do like a pregnancy routine, those type of videos. I also want to just share some things that I have been using that have been really helpful as far as like resources, books that I've been reading to prepare for birth, and just different things that I feel like have been really helpful. Also, if you guys want a pregnancy Q&A, if I get enough questions, I will 100% do a Q&A. But if not, then you guys will just, you know, kind of go along the journey and you will learn different things as I reveal them to you. But I have been vlogging and I've been talking about my pregnancy in my vlogs. And so now I can start, you know, posting more doctor's visits and glucose tests and what that experience was like. Just excited, honestly. Like this is gonna be a new niche, so to speak. Like momhood on my channel is like a new niche that I have never navigated before, but I'm very excited to be sharing it with you guys. If you're a mom, I want you to leave me your best advice in the comment section, or if you're also experiencing pregnancy with me, if this is your first time or if it's your second or third time, you know, let's just have conversations in comment section. Like, have you had similar symptoms or did you have the total opposite symptoms of what I've mentioned? Like, let's really, you know, start to create that mommy sisterhood together. And it's so cool, and I'm smiling because I'm just like, wow, like I actually get to say that I'm a part of mommyhood. Like this is just so cool. Y'all, that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are as excited as I am as we bring in our beautiful baby in a couple of months. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, y'all. We got a baby on board. Y'all got to give a thumbs up for that. I love you guys so much. I'm grateful that I get to share this journey with y'all. That's a wrap, y'all. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.